In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 things I wish I knew when I was struggling with binge eating. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Stop Binging and Start Living. And from the title, this is exactly what I'm going to be helping you through this series in this podcast through nourishment, movement, and mindset. Because when you understand where these habits are coming from and how to actually create a change, a positive change for the long term, you can start living your life today by creating a life free from binge eating. So I am so excited to have you here, and let's dive into today's episode.
If this is the first time that you're hearing me over on the podcast or seeing me over here on YouTube, my name is Dina Merhbi. I'm actually a dietitian, NLP practitioner, and as well a yoga and mindfulness teacher. And I struggled with binge eating more than 20 years ago when, guess what? It was not even a term. Back then, it was called lazy, fat, lack of self control, lack of motivation, all these horrible terms that came up in my life 20 years ago. But I'm laughing about it because nobody knew really what I was struggling with because no doctor knew what it was because it didn't exist. It was only anorexia and bulimia. And everything else was kind of like, we don't know yet. And I talk to my friends and family, they just thought of self control, measure your food. But what I'm sharing with you today is the 3 things, if I would go back in time, what I would tell poor little Dina that was close to 200 pounds, struggling to help her recover faster or maybe even in a healthier way. But here I am, more than 20 years later, binge free. Everything pretty much works out, and I'm actually in my best shape right now, mentally, physically, and emotionally, with all foods in my life. And I want to share that with you. But if I can go back to 20 years ago, what would I tell my dear little Dina? The number one thing I would tell her is, you are not alone. I thought I was the only one struggling with this. And even though right now with social media and there's like group supports, many people actually still feel alone in the struggle. They feel ashamed. They feel they should be able to just kick the habit. They should be able to just stick to the plan, follow through because everybody else is doing it. But here is the thing, you are not alone. It is hard for you because I'm going to be sharing in terms of tip 2 and tip 3 to actually get away from this whole dieting world and understand that there's something else. So, tip number 1, I want you to know that you are not alone. I know the pain is real. I know the struggle is real. I was there. My clients have been there. But the thing is, by knowing that you're not alone, make sure that you surround yourself with people that are there to support you, to help you feel heard and understood, because that's going to be a key part in helping you release the stigma that you have around your eating, your weight, your habits, your lifestyle, to be able to create this amazing breakthrough that you are seeking. So that's my tip. Number 1, you are not alone. Do not be alone. Seek a support around you that is helpful and supportive and that is not diet oriented. Number 2, this took me a while. I'm going to say it. It's kind of a struggle when you first start and you're struggling to being close to 200 pounds. And you get on that scale and you're doing the changes, you're trying to eat better, and the scale is not budging. And what happens when you don't feel good because the weight is not moving? You let go of the hard work you're doing to take care of yourself. And you might actually go and eat more. You're trying to feel better. There's always that little voice in your head saying, lose weight, lose weight. When you lose weight, everything's going to be better. When you lose weight, you're going to be confident. When you're losing weight, no more binge eating. No, you can lose weight and still binge eat. It's not, doesn't cure it. Weight loss is not a cure for binge eating. So the thing that I ended up having to do at one point when I almost reached 200 pounds, and I was like, oh, I cannot see that number tip over. I decided to stop looking at the number. I decided to stop weighing myself because I was struggling with this for I think close to 5 years. And no matter what I was trying to do, the scale was a big part of me always struggling, weighing my self-esteem and my confidence according to the number on the scale, that it would change for a million and one reasons, especially as a woman. So I wish I told her back then, to poor little Dina struggling with binge eating, you need to ditch the scale. The more you're focusing on an external number to validate you're doing good work and not good work, this is actually very destructive and very toxic. To actually create this freedom to feel better in your body, because feeling better in your body has nothing to do with the number on your scale. Confidence has nothing to do with the number on the scale. It's really seeing, how do I feel in my body in terms of bloating, swelling? Does this food fit me? Does this not fit me? Maybe in that sense, but it's not a number on the scale, because we have a lot of intolerances and inflammation. But the number on the scale actually means nothing. What's happening? The number on the scale has never helped anybody recover from binge eating. And I know it's hard. But to really tell yourself, I am done with dieting. I'm done of weighing myself, because honestly, if it doesn't make you feel good, why do it? It's keeping you controlled like a prisoner. Why do it? Again, remember, you're going to end up eating the emotions like I used to do. I'd be like, oh, well, I'm doing all this work and the scale is not moving. Might as well. This is not worth it. This is BS. I'm just going to keep eating. I'm going to start again next Monday. How destructive is that? When probably I was doing pretty good. But I let that number dictate if I was doing good or not. Sometimes it takes time for the body to respond to what you're doing. But it's all about feeling good beyond the scale. Get that number out. So if I would go back, I would take that scale and trash it. I know she would have been annoyed at me, but it's all for the best. The third reason, the third thing I wish I would have told her, because when I was struggling with binge eating, I actually got accepted in the dietetics and human nutrition to become a dietitian. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna know the nutritional reasons, what's happening, why I'm binge eating. I'm gonna understand how to diet. It kind of became like, oh, I'm on a mission to find the solution, the nutritional solution. But I was still struggling. It was only when I actually did a residency in an eating disorder unit, when, again, I still didn't know what I had. I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is different. I didn't want to work in a hospital. I'm like, let's go work in mental health. I'm curious about it. Something in me nudged me to go there. And I was like, nobody wanted that rotation. I was like, then it's easy. This is how I chose my rotations. I'll be very honest. How close is it to my house? And can I park my car? It filled that. Nobody wanted that place. I booked it and I got it. The way I choose things, and then it ends up being for the greater good. And I was doing this in eating disorder rotation, and it was anorexics and bulimics, and I was like understanding a little bit the psychology. But then there's these talks that therapists would have about people that would not qualify under their care and their symptoms and what they were going through. And I was there sitting in my corner like a good little student, and I was like, that's how I feel. That's what I do. And of course, nobody knew. I was like so ashamed. Nobody knew what I was doing. It was all in secret. If anybody's listening to this right now and you knew me back in my late teens, early 20s, nobody knew. And it's okay, because I didn't show it, right? You don't always see people's habits behind the scenes. They were just seeing, why is he not gaining weight? That's pretty much it. So when I started understanding and having those talks with people, I was like, okay, there's nutritional reasons, emotional reasons, and social reasons for the struggle. It's not me trying to count my calories and measure the food and just force through the pain and just maybe in 2-3 weeks I'll just get over that hump of binge eating. There was a reason why. And that's why after I did a minor in psychology, I became a yoga teacher, I'm an NLP practitioner, because I understood there's so much more to us than just what we're eating when we're struggling with binge eating. There's something deeper. And I wanted to do it, yes, to better understand myself, because I was still ashamed of what I was going through. I was still ashamed to tell people I had this. And trust me, now I talk about it so easily and freely. But the first time I had to say it on social media, I think it was in 2017, maybe, I kind of said it the first time, and I was like panicked. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show people my weakness, what I had. But no, everybody has a struggle. And the reason why I am and what I do right now, there's a reason behind it. And I want to share that. I want to be transparent. Because yes, you can recover from this. You don't have to struggle with this for the rest of your life. And by being more transparent, help me actually create kind of like, it's a struggle. Something that happened, it was a pain, and I worked through it. I fixed it. I really seek the resources to help me because it does take a village to help. Not a village of having 20 people around you supporting you, but it takes a village of knowledge to understand that this is a multifaceted thing. And that's why I wish she ended up discovering it, Dina, back in her 20s, a little bit slow, but she got there out of the fluke time of actually getting a residency in an eating disorder unit. It actually opened up of, yes, trust yourself. You were guided here for a reason. Dive deeper, and it's okay. We should not be ashamed of our habits. We should not be ashamed of our eating disorders. We should not be ashamed of our binge eating. We shouldn't. It's a mental health struggle, just like we should not be ashamed if you have cholesterol issues, if you have diabetes. Like, there should not be any shame when there's something on the inside that needs some support and some help. And that's what binge eating is. And that's, the thing that she discovered it slowly, but I wish I would have told her that like way back when, of saying, listen, by doing this and this and this and working on those three things, you're going to actually be able to heal that pain that you have and not have to keep hiding and putting your life on pause until you lose those 10 pounds that end up being, I need to lose 20. And I was like, oh, I didn't need to lose 30 because with every diet, I kept gaining more and more every time I put the weight back on. So those are the three things I would tell young Dina, which is you are not alone. No need to be ashamed of this. Number two, ditch the scale. That number is only going to be destructive and you're going to be a prisoner to that number. And number three, it's not just about food. It's about your emotions. It's about trauma that you went through. It's about bullying, intimidation. It's about your environment. There's so many reasons why you went to that type of habit in a certain way of turning to food for emotional reasons. And it's okay. You found a survival mechanism, self-medicating mechanism. And right now it's kind of saying, okay, are we ready to find another way to heal or to feel our emotions and to go through it instead of just stuffing it down with chocolate and cookies and chips and McDonald's trios and even pizza. Back in the day when McDonald's had pizza, if you're from that generation, they did have pizza for a little while. So that's what I wish I knew back 20 years ago, but we're not going to be going back. I wish. It's just, I like these kind of things of, these are the three things that I think that are the most groundbreaking when I tell my clients is that you're not alone. We need to ditch the scale and we need to understand what is actually appealing to the binge eating in your subconscious that you keep going forward. And by bringing awareness to it and start like kind of like breaking down those ropes that ties you up to that binge eating, this is when you actually get food freedom and life freedom and weight freedom and just be happy exactly how you are, bringing your personality out and living life on your terms. So I would love to know, how do you feel about those? Like, do any of those resonate? Make sure that you share a review here if you're listening to this over a podcast, or connect with me over on YouTube. Leave a comment right below. And again, if you have any questions to know how I can support you on your journey of amazing resources, free and as well courses and programs, there's also private coaching to see if I am actually the best coach for you. All you have to do is to come and to apply, and we get to talk to see how we can work together. So next episode, do tune in because I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about my story to be a little bit more transparent and to see what happened, what led me to binge eating, and maybe some of the things will resonate with you. So do stay tuned or listen to the next episode if it's available right now. On that note, my name is Dina Merhbi. I wish you a beautiful and a balanced day, and I'll catch you in the next episode.